Pay close attention to what I'm about to tell you. There are objects in your room that Mary does not want to be there. Objects that seem harmless, yet they are blocking grace, stealing your peace, and keeping your soul in a state of unrest. Dear brothers and sisters, December 8th is not just another date circled on the calendar, it's the solemnity of the Immaculate Conception, one of the most spiritually charged moments heaven grants us all year. It's when the veil between worlds grows thinner, when Mary's presence doesn't just hover above us but presses close, intimate, maternal, when what's been hiding in the shadows of your home, your heart, your history, finally steps into the light. But here's what they don't tell you in Sunday Mass. For that flood of grace to reach you, your bedroom needs to be ready. And there are objects, ordinary things you see every day, that Mary herself is asking you to remove before her feast day arrives. Messages like this: don't drift through the internet randomly. If you're watching right now, if something made you stop scrolling and pay attention, that wasn't algorithm luck. Mary called you here. What I'm about to share can shift everything about how you rest, how your home feels, how your spirit breathes. And here's the urgency. This must happen before December 8th, not because of superstition, but because that particular day carries a spiritual current unlike any other. The things sitting on your nightstand right now, tucked in your drawer, hanging on your wall even if they look completely innocent, they're affecting your rest, your dreams, your emotions, and whether grace can actually land in your life. Father Pio knew this truth in his bones. He understood that our spaces aren't neutral. They either feed our spiritual life or they starve it. He taught that disorder breeds confusion, brokenness invites more breaking, and unhealed memories create walls grace can't penetrate. That's why Mary, your mother, who never stops protecting you, is speaking directly to you through this moment. She's asking you to clear certain things from your bedroom before December 8th. If you sense Mary's hand in this, if something in your chest just tightened with recognition, write in the comments, "Immaculate Mary, protect my home," not just as a comment, as a prayer, as an invitation for her to start working even before you finish watching. Now, before I tell you which objects need to go, you have to understand why December 8th isn't just religiously significant, it's spiritually nuclear. Many Catholics mention this feast without grasping what's actually happening. Some think it's about Jesus' birth. Others confuse it with the virginal conception, but it's something older, stranger, more powerful than both. December 8th celebrates that Mary herself was conceived without sin. From the first spark of her existence, before her mother even knew she was pregnant, before her first heartbeat, God reached into time and said, "This one will be different." She never had a single second of darkness, not one moment where shame, fear, or brokenness touched her. She's the only human being who entered this world already whole. That's why we call her immaculate. But here's what changes everything. This isn't just ancient history. This day doesn't commemorate something that happened once and ended. December 8th opens something. When we remember her purity, when we honor this mystery, her presence becomes less like background music and more like a living force in the room with you. The mystics and saints, Father Pio included, understood that certain feast days create spiritual atmospheres that are thicker, more potent. December 8th is one of those days. On this feast, the invisible realm leans in. Mary's light doesn't just shine, it penetrates. Darkness doesn't just retreat, it runs. Blessings don't just trickle, they pour. Where Mary enters fully, the enemy loses his footing. Where she touches without resistance, impurity can't survive. Where she blesses without obstacles, grace doesn't drip, it floods. And that's exactly why this day demands preparation. Light doesn't force itself into cluttered spaces. Peace won't settle where chaos is welcomed. Healing can't root in soil that's still poisoned with old pain. Your bedroom is the most vulnerable space you have. It's where your defenses drop, where you can't pretend anymore, where your spirit, for better or worse, is completely exposed. That's why what you keep there matters more than you've been told. Night isn't just the absence of daylight, it's its own kind of territory. Your body powers down, your mind goes offline, but your spirit stays wide awake, sensing things your conscious mind can't process. That's why children fear the dark instinctively. That's why nightmares don't feel like regular dreams. That's why you can sleep for 8 hours and still wake up feeling like you ran a marathon through mud. Night is the crack between what's seen and what's unseen. And what you keep in your bedroom, even objects you stopped noticing years ago, they're either guarding that crack or widening it. Father Pio spent entire nights in prayer, locked in battles most of us will never witness. He knew the night wasn't neutral territory. He understood that when we sleep, we become spiritually porous in ways we aren't during daylight hours. That's when whispers get louder, when doubts feel heavier, when old wounds ache for no clear reason. He taught that we must be ruthlessly intentional about what we allow into our sacred spaces. The devil, he said, studies us more carefully than we study ourselves, watching, waiting, looking for any door we left cracked open. That's why Mary wants to protect you during these hours. She's not just a figure in stained glass or a statue on a shelf. She's actively mothering you right now, watching over your sleep, standing between you and things you can't see. But she needs your cooperation. She's asking you to remove what blocks her light. Let's talk about why December 8th specifically carries the kind of spiritual voltage that can change your life if you're ready. This isn't religious routine or churchy tradition. According to the mystics, saints, and those who've lived closest to the invisible world, certain days create atmospheres where grace moves differently. December 8th is one of those days. The Feast of the Immaculate Conception isn't just a remembrance, it's an opening. On this day, Mary's presence becomes less abstract and more tangible. Her intercession isn't just available, it's amplified. The light doesn't just shine, it searches. Darkness doesn't just hide, it's exposed. Think of it like this. If prayer is always a conversation with heaven, then prayer on December 8th is that conversation with the volume turned all the way up. If Mary's help is always there when you call, then on her feast day it's like she's already standing at your door before you knock. If grace normally flows like a gentle stream, then on December 8th, it's a waterfall you can stand under and let drench you completely. But here's the part most people miss, the part that keeps them from receiving what's being offered. Grace is powerful, but it's not forceful. It doesn't bulldoze its way into spaces that are locked, cluttered, or still holding on to what hurts. Light needs space to enter. Peace needs room to settle. Healing needs an environment that actually wants it. That's why Mary is giving you advanced warning. She wants your bedroom prepared when her day arrives. She wants the blockages cleared so her light can reach every shadowed corner of your room and every wounded corner of your heart. And that brings us to what she's asking you to remove. These aren't old superstitions or religious paranoia. These are objects that carry spiritual weight, that create invisible barriers, that keep you anchored to things that drain your peace without you even realizing it. Father Pio would have sensed it immediately. He had a gift for feeling when something was spiritually off, and he didn't mince words. He'd tell people straight, get rid of what doesn't belong. So let's walk through these objects one at a time, and I need you to really listen. Not with skepticism, not with dismissiveness. Listen the way you'd listen if your doctor said, this thing in your house is making you sick. Because spiritually, that's exactly what's happening. The first thing Mary wants out of your bedroom is any clock that's stopped or broken. I can already hear some of you thinking, a clock? That's what we're worried about. But stay with me, because this isn't about being superstitious. It's about understanding how symbols work in the spiritual realm. A stopped clock isn't just a dead battery. It's a statement. Time frozen, progress halted, life suspended. What's stuck attracts more stuckness. What's stopped invites more stopping. What refuses to move forward creates an atmosphere where nothing else can move forward either. Think about what a clock represents. Forward motion, progress, the unstoppable rhythm of life continuing. Now imagine that rhythm just stopped and you sleep next to it every single night. You're resting in a space that symbolically declares nothing advances here. Many people have alarm clocks with dead batteries sitting on their nightstands, old watches in drawers that stopped years ago, decorative clocks they never bothered fixing. And they wonder why they feel perpetually stuck, why they're always tired no matter how much they sleep, why motivation feels like pushing a boulder uphill, why their spiritual life feels frozen in place. A woman reached out to me last year. She said, "I had this beautiful antique clock my grandmother gave me. It stopped working when I was in college, but I kept it because it reminded me of her. For 3 years it sat on my dresser, and for 3 years I felt like I was running in place. Nothing in my life moved, no new opportunities, no breakthroughs, no growth, just this exhausting sameness. One day during a deep cleaning I finally removed it. That night I slept differently, deeper, lighter, somehow. Within 2 weeks I got a job offer I'd been waiting months for. Within a month, a relationship I thought was dead suddenly came back to life. I'm not saying the clock caused everything, but removing it unblocked something. I felt it. That's not coincidence. That's spiritual physics." Father Pio understood that renewal is essential to spiritual life. He taught that God is always in motion, always creating, always bringing fresh life into existence. Stagnation, he warned, is where the enemy sets up camp. When we stop moving spiritually, when we accept being stuck, when we make peace with things staying the same, we create openings for discouragement, doubt, and darkness. Mary is the opposite of stagnation. She's constantly interceding, constantly moving between heaven and earth, constantly pouring fresh grace on anyone who asks. A stopped clock in your bedroom contradicts her nature. It creates an atmosphere that resists her flow. So, here's what you do right now before you finish this video. Look around your room. Is there a clock that doesn't work? An old watch tucked away? A decorative piece that hasn't ticked in years? Remove it today, not tomorrow, today. Throw it away if it's beyond repair. Store it somewhere far from where you sleep if it has sentimental value. But get it out of your bedroom before December 8th. Your room needs to reflect movement, progress, openness to what God wants to do next in your life. But that's not the only thing blocking Mary's light. The second thing Mary is asking you to remove is anything broken or damaged. This is one of the most ignored warnings in modern spiritual life. But the ancient saints knew it instinctively. What's broken doesn't just sit there harmlessly. It sends out a signal. What's shattered attracts more shattering. What's deteriorating invites more decay. What's damaged creates a frequency of damage. I'm talking about cracked mugs you still drink from, chipped plates on your nightstand, electronics that haven't worked in months, lamps that flicker but never fully turn on, furniture with broken pieces you got used to, tangled cables, objects you keep thinking you'll fix someday. You might think they're harmless because they're small, or because you stopped noticing them. But in Scripture, brokenness isn't neutral. It symbolizes wounds that haven't healed, chaos that hasn't been ordered, wholeness that hasn't been restored. When you sleep surrounded by broken things night after night, you're retelling your soul on a subconscious level, "This is acceptable. Living with what's damaged is normal. I don't deserve better." Think about how you feel walking into 2 different rooms. One is clean, orderly, everything in its place and working. The other is cluttered, broken things everywhere, nothing quite functioning right. Even if you can't articulate why, something in you responds differently to each space. One feels like you can breathe, the other feels like you're carrying extra weight. That's because your environment speaks a language your soul understands, even when your mind doesn't. Father Pio was a man of simplicity, but also of order and care. His room wasn't fancy, but everything in it was maintained. He understood that external disorder creates and reflects internal disorder. He taught that we honor God by taking care of what He's entrusted to us, even the smallest things. When we let everything fall apart and shrug it off, we're actually lowering our standards for our spiritual lives too. A woman told me something I'll never forget. She said, "I finally threw away all the broken junk I'd been keeping, fixed the lamp, got rid of the cracked mirror, It felt silly at first, like I was just cleaning. But that night, something shifted. I can't even explain it. It was like my heart could finally exhale, like something that had been pressing on my chest for months just lifted. That's not just psychology, that's spiritual reality. Mary is the mother of wholeness, order, harmony. She doesn't want you sleeping in an environment that reflects fragments and brokenness. She wants your space to mirror the restoration God is working in your life. So before December 8th, take inventory. What's broken in your room? What needs repair? Either fix it or remove it. Don't negotiate. Don't make excuses. Don't say later. Your bedroom should reflect the completeness heaven is trying to bring into your spirit. Now, before we continue, I want to share something with you that connects directly to everything we're talking about. Father Pio's greatest spiritual weapon wasn't education or status or religious authority. It was something simple, something powerful, something any of us can use right now. The Rosary. Father Pio prayed the Rosary constantly. He called it his weapon, his shield, his lifeline to heaven. And if you want to deepen your connection with Mary and experience the same spiritual protection he lived in, I want to offer you something special. We've created an ebook called The Power of the Rosary with Father Pio, Miracles, Protection, and Divine Graces. This isn't just information, it's a tool. It will help you learn how to pray the Rosary with real devotion instead of just going through motions. You'll discover actual miracles and testimonies from people who experienced its power firsthand. You'll understand Father Pio's most profound teachings about prayer. You'll receive a 30-day prayer guide with specific daily intentions to strengthen your faith. And you'll get access to special prayers for protection, healing, and spiritual freedom. The Rosary was Father Pio's most trusted companion, and it can become yours too. This is a resource that's already helped thousands of people transform their prayer lives. To download it, just click the link pinned in the comments. Now, let's talk about the third object, and this one cuts deeper than the others. The third thing Mary wants you to remove carries more weight than most people realize. I'm talking about anything connected to people who hurt you. Photos from relationships that ended in betrayal, letters you saved from friendships that turned toxic, gifts from someone who broke your heart, objects that belong to people who wounded you so deeply you're still carrying the scar. You might think because they're just objects, because they're not the actual person, they're harmless. But they're not. These things function like anchors, invisible chains, threads connecting your present moment to past pain. Every time you see them, even if you don't consciously register it, something in your spirit flinches. The wound reopens slightly. The memory replays. The hurt gets reinforced without you even realizing it's happening. A young woman shared something with me that I think about often. She said, "I kept a shoebox full of letters from someone who destroyed me. I told myself I was over it, that keeping them didn't mean anything, but I couldn't figure out why I never felt rested. Why every morning I woke up with this low-grade anxiety I couldn't explain. One day, I finally threw that box away. I expected to feel sad or regretful. But instead, that night, I slept like I hadn't slept in years. Deep, peaceful, dreamless in the best way. It was like chains I didn't know I was wearing just fell off." Your bedroom cannot be a museum of pain. It can't be a shrine to what hurt you. It has to be a sanctuary where healing is actually possible. Mary doesn't force herself into spaces where you're actively holding on to what wounds you. She respects your choices, but she's asking you now before December 8th, before her light comes flooding in. Are you ready to let go? Father Pio understood forgiveness on a level most of us don't reach. People attacked him, spread lies about him, tried to destroy everything he built, and he forgave them. But forgiveness doesn't mean keeping souvenirs of the hurt. It means releasing the weight so you can actually walk forward instead of dragging the past behind you. He taught that spiritual freedom isn't just about saying the right words. It's about removing what keeps you tied. So go through your bedroom, find those objects, the photos, the gifts, the letters, the reminders of people who caused you pain. Take them out, donate them, throw them away. Store them somewhere far from where you sleep, but don't keep them close to your rest anymore. Your bedroom should be where healing happens, not where old wounds are preserved like museum exhibits. And this is why Mary is asking for all of this, because she's your mother. Not in some distant, abstract way. In a real, active, intimate way, she watches over you while you sleep. She guards your spirit when you can't guard it yourself. She's preparing something for December 8th that you can't fully see yet. According to the mystics, this feast day isn't just symbolic. It creates an actual shift in the spiritual atmosphere. The invisible world leans closer. Mary's presence becomes less like background radiation and more like sunlight directly on your face. Her light doesn't just illuminate, it transforms. Darkness doesn't just hide, it evacuates. Grace doesn't just arrive, it saturates. But grace, as powerful as it is, won't force its way through blockages. It flows where there's openness. It fills where there's space. It heals where there's willingness. That's why she's warning you now, giving you time to prepare. When December 8th arrives, she wants to find your bedroom ready. Not perfect, not spotless, but clear, open, willing to receive everything she wants to pour into your life. So, what do you do after you've removed these objects? How do you actually prepare your space for her blessing? Open your windows. Let fresh air and natural light move through your room. It's not just practical, it's symbolic. You're making space for something new. Pray one, a Maria, slowly, not rushing through it like a memorized formula, word by word, letting each phrase sink in, letting the prayer itself do its work of cleansing. Take blessed water and sprinkle it in the four corners of your bedroom. If you don't have blessed water, get some from your church before December 8th. This isn't superstition, it's sacramental. It's using physical things to invite spiritual realities. Place an image of Mary somewhere. You'll see it on your nightstand, on your wall somewhere, that reminds you she's present, watching, protecting. Light a blessed candle for a few minutes. Carefully, intentionally let the flame represent the light of her purity entering your space, and then say quietly from your heart, "Immaculate Mary, enter my room and cleanse my heart." That's it. Simple, powerful, real. On December 8th, you'll notice something different. Maybe it's a deeper peace when you lay down. Maybe it's waking up without that heaviness you got used to. Maybe it's a clarity in your mind you haven't felt in months. Many people who've done this have written to me describing exactly these experiences. They say their sleep changed, their atmosphere transformed. Something they couldn't name before finally lifted. This isn't magic. This is cooperation with grace. You didn't stumble onto this message by accident. The algorithm didn't randomly suggest it. Mary called you here because she sees something in you that you might not see in yourself yet. Potential, hunger for more, willingness to change even when it's uncomfortable. She wants to restore your life, your peace, your rest, your soul. And it all begins in the simplest, most overlooked, most sacred space you have, your bedroom. Remove what weighs you down, clear space for grace. Get ready for the light of the Immaculate to fill not just your room, but every part of your life that's been sitting in shadow. If this message landed in your spirit, if something in you recognized truth when you heard it, write in the comments, "Immaculate Mary, purify my home." That's not just engagement. That's a prayer, an invitation, a declaration that you're ready. And if you believe in this mission, if you want to help spread Father Pio's teachings and Mary's protection to more people, I need your help. Leave your like on this video, share it with someone you love who needs to hear this, and consider becoming a member of this channel. We're not just making content, we're building a community of people who take their spiritual lives seriously, who want more than surface-level religion, who are hungry for real transformation. Together we're stronger. Together, we're a force for light in a world that desperately needs it. May Mary's blessing cover your home like a blanket. May Father Pio's intercession guide every step you take. And may December 8th be the day everything shifts for you.